Welcome to the Post Ride Podcast. Lee Kahn, Ryan Lois, and myself discuss our amazing motorcycle trip through Spain in late October and early November 2022. This is episode 11. It is Tuesday, November the 8th. Lee had booked a walking tour of the Alhambra. If you're going to go see a site, this is one of those to go see and walk through. It's the fort that the Moors occupied for centuries, and it was one of the last holdouts, really, when they were Catholicizing Spain. And I'm not going to try and remember any of the tour in terms of historical context and all that sort of stuff.
Once we started the tour and walked up the hill and got the history of everything, at some point, once we got into the Alhambra, we were looking across the valley at the viewpoint from the previous night. We got the full view of it. The grounds and the facility felt like you were being transported back in time to this rarefied air. Only the nobles of the nobles would have ever been in this place. It was quite spectacular, from the mirror pools that they had that would accentuate all the Muslim writing and the viewpoints and the guard towers. And it was all really quite spectacular. The gardens they had there were unlike anything I've ever seen. And the tour guide was quite good as well. It was just a neat moment to scope it out. And there wasn't that many people there. It's nothing like it is any other time of the year where it would just be a zoo.
We took the day off from riding, and more hills were involved. More straight up hills, but it was worth it. We had the entire city of Granada. You got mountains behind you, a valley going down towards the city, and you're overlooking everything.
One of the things that I found interesting, there's water running down from the Alhambra, and it hadn't rained. So they've got a river that's been redirected to feed water into the palace and the grounds, and they're just letting the water run down, and that's a sign of wealth. When you come from the North African desert or something, water is so precious, and here they're just letting it flow on the street. We just wound our way through the Alhambra. We got to see the living quarters of the guards and their families. There was a bathhouse. The Muslims had bathhouses, and then the Christians came in and said, no, you don't bathe together, that's bad, and shut it all down. The details of the walls, the carvings, it's just so intricate to see all of it. And then you reflect that onto pools and fountains. It's just a dramatic place, and you could spend so much time just going over every inch of it if you wanted to. I can see how the people that lead the tours who study the Alhambra and that time period in the world, it's really an incredibly preserved space.
It was one of those kind of places where if you squinted your eyes, it was like stepping back in time. You could almost imagine what it might have been like. They started building that in like 1000. This building is ancient. I had a couple of moments where I was just looking out and just trying to envision what it would have been like. The amounts of people that actually were in there were probably very few, because those were like super holy sites for the most elite of the holy men. See, it was a very strategic point to be up on the hill. It was never attacked. It was never overrun. It was a perfect run of fee and tactics to have that building there. It's impressive.
I was placed in the most strategic spot with running water, and it had its own farming system, and it was self-sustaining. It was impenetrable.
You got to climb all the way up this hill. By the time you get up there, you're too tired to fight.
I'm not interested in fighting after that. I'll go for some tea down the street.
After the Alhambra, our dinner that night was spectacular. You found us another just killer spot with a great view of the city at night. That was one of those 6-star kind of meals. Incredible service. Had some wine with dinner, and the food was off the hook.
Yes, that was quite a spectacular place. We had huge paella there, but you remember it was like sausage and gorgonzola and nuts or something in it. It was different, and it was a little creamier, and it was really quite awesome. The restaurant was called Cafeteria Restaurante El Molino, and we had killer wine there. There was just hardly anybody in there. Outstanding service. You're right. That was a high-end restaurant, and that food was amazing. The desserts were awesome. Ryan ordered enough for 10 guys.
It was up on the hill. It had the big windows, big picture windows that looked out over the city lights at night. It was very romantic to spend that time with you guys.
Yes, strangely romantic.
That wraps up that day. That was Tuesday, and spent the day at the Alhambra and had a great dinner and didn't do any writing. We'll see you on the next one.